Okay, guys, welcome to the Team on the Run call for, what is it, Monday the 26th, June 26th? And I haven't even showered today. I'm so gross. So I apologize. I'm like, what day is it? What's happening? Um, Sheena Arndt is our guest speaker tonight. And I asked her to speak to you guys about social media presence because I love her social media presence, basically. I feel like Sheena is somebody I would follow even if I didn't know her because her social media presence is just really strong and her brand is really strong. And I know that she's got some great tips for us. I'm just going to fill you in a little bit on a little bit about her and then I'll turn it over to her. So, Sheena is a new member on the Wisconsin Market Council here. She lives outside of Appleton in Wisconsin, and we've got few people on this call that are in Wisconsin, but we've got people all over the place. I'm just looking at my notes to make sure I don't forget anything. She's been a coach since March of 2015. She went Emerald in 2 weeks. That's awesome. She went Diamond in 59 days, which is amazing as well. I can't imagine. It took me like well over a year to go Diamond. She's a Success Club 10 legend, and she's a mom of three, and she's got fabulous hair. I follow on social media, and she's just amazing. So I can't thank her enough for being on the call, and I'm just going to turn it over to her with her social media tips, and I'm going to take some notes, okay? And
Awesome.
I don't know if I missed anything. There's probably so much to talk about with you, but
No, it sounded fabulous. Well, thank you very much for asking me to speak. It was like kind of an honor. I was like, what? I have great social media presence? Like, what? Oh, thank you. So, I don't know. It's something that I've definitely worked on. And when I see my time hop come up and I see the things that I used to post, I kind of do one of these each morning when I look at that because it's rather embarrassing. And I think that social media is a skill that's definitely developed and learned over time. So I'm going to share with you some tips and things that I have learned over the last 2 years that I feel have gotten me to this point. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and screen share. All right. Can you guys see that? Just give me a thumbs up. Yeah, awesome. Okay, cool. So 10 ways to rock your post. Now, I do pretty much everything. All of my business is done on Facebook. So that's going to be where I focus tonight is on Facebook. And it's honestly what's helped me hit at least SC10 every single month for the last 27, 26 months. I don't know. Is that? How long ago was March? Whatever. I'm on the Hot Mess Express just like Jessica. So, all right. So this was so key. When my coach first told me to find out what my avatar is, and does everybody know what an avatar is? Like that is your girl, your guy, or whoever it is that you are looking for, and that's the person that you want to look for on social media that you really want to speak to. And when she first told me that she had this like big long training, and I was like, I'm not gonna do that. Like, I'll just post and I'll just wing it. People just come to me. Yeah, that didn't work out so well. So I think it took really figuring out who I wanted to talk to and making sure that that's where my posts were geared towards. And once that started happening, that's when like I started finding coaches that were like me and challengers that were like me as well. So I just pulled together a few of like things that, sorry, am I cutting out? Okay. I'm just hearing like funny noises. Okay, so these are like.
yeah, it's like a few kind of funny noises here. I'll just make sure I don't need to mute anybody. Oh, maybe. I was just going to say, now that I'm unmuted, sorry, that I am your avatar. So that's probably why I love following you, because like all these things are me. So
Yeah.
that's all. I'm going to mute myself again.
But like, I don't know, I'm a fan of Snapchat and using Bitmojis. And so this seemed fun to me. And so I thought, what are all of the things, like back when I was trying to find my avatar, what are things that make me me? And that's what I want to talk about. Like, I'm super feisty. Like, I've scaled it back over the years, but I still am, like, sometimes run my mouth when I shouldn't and get really angry really fast. So I like feisty people. I'm a mom of 3. Pretty much chaos is my style. We have stuff going on all the time. It's kind of our downfall, actually. I love sweets, specifically ice cream. I'm like to go out and drink wine and do those things, and I'm kind of obsessed with coffee as well. So, and I've found that those are things that I really like to post about. I like to post about being sassy, drinking wine, ice cream, how crazy busy we are, my kids, and coffee. And those are the things that get the most amount of traction for me because it's my brand. It's what I continually post about. And obviously within there is Beachbody posts as well. So just knowing who you're talking to in the first place, instead of trying to talk to everybody, like that's not going to work. You need to figure out who you are speaking to so you can target your audience. And I don't know if your team has avatar trainings and things like that, but there is a lot of information out there. YouTube is seriously my best friend. It's where I go for everything. And I'm sure that you can find some avatar training on YouTube as well. So this is kind of cut off on my screen. I don't know if you guys can see all of this, but consistency, consistency, consistency. It's honestly like when we talk about being a product of the product, part of that is being consistent with sharing that you are a product of the product. So if you're not posting about you're drinking your Shakeology, about your workouts, about your business, you're not being consistent. And obviously part of consistency is being a real person too, and sharing those things, not just Beachbody, 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 Beachbody too. Those are the posts that get the least amount of traction. But just being consistent in posting in general, I can 100% tell when I scale back on the weekend. If I don't, I go like 2 posts on the weekend versus my typical, 3 to 5 that I do during the week. On Monday mornings, things are pretty slow for me, and it takes me a while to get back up there, and people aren't interacting with me as much. So being consistent is huge, but not being like obsessive. I try to never post like more than, I don't even know. I can't even think about like the amount of hours in between my posts, but I really try to space them out during the day. You'll never see me post like back to back, sharing different things. And if I do, it's an accident. So spacing things out, not doing it too frequently, but not doing it either is huge. You have to be consistent. I think that's something that when coaches are struggling, like people aren't seeing my posts. Well, that's because you're only posting once a day or 2-3 times a week. And so you're not popping up in news feeds. And that's just how this works. You have to be present in order to be seen. So making sure that within your consistency of sharing your daily things, and we'll talk more about that, but your workouts, and like pick one thing that you're going to post about for Beachbody each day, whether it's your Shakeology, your fitness routine that you did for the day, a healthy meal, your business. Pick one thing. Don't post about all of those things, because then you are this nuisance that people don't want to see. They don't want to follow someone who's just pitching ads all day long. And even if you're trying to share it like in a non-salesy way, people see right through that. They see your Shakeology, and then they see your workout, and then they see you talking about your business. And no, that's like 3 posts of the same thing all in one day, and they're going to go unfollow. So don't do that. Pick one thing per day, and even plan it out during your week. Like, what day of the week would you like to post about X and Y and Z, and space that out so you're not accidentally doing it either. All right, so the next thing, and this is huge, I feel like I struggled with this in the beginning. I wanted to be my coach. She looked like she was being successful, and so I wanted to copy everything that she did and share all of those things because that was working for her. But that wasn't me. We have very different lives, very different personalities. And so I feel like over the last, I don't know, few months, with year maybe, once I started to actually be me and let my personality and my humor and my sarcasm and my chaos shine through, that's when people really started, like, I feel like, being attracted to me. And just making sure I'm sharing this post here that was kind of raw. It was about, I like to be alone, but I hate being lonely. So since I've started staying home with the kids and not going to work, I don't have a lot of adult interaction other than through social media. And it was like kind of hitting me, like I miss my friends, I miss my coworkers. And that's not something like, hey, look at me over here. I don't have a lot of friends that I hang out with. And so it felt kind of raw, and it felt like something that could make me feel even more lonely if people were to shun me for it. But instead, it did the opposite. Like, you can see the comments, and there's not a lot of likes on this post, but there was a ton of comments, and people who felt the same way. And I actually got a lot of I got a phone call from a friend who I legit haven't talked to in 5 years, and she's like, I miss you, how are you doing? And it didn't do exactly what I hoped it for. I just really wanted to share about myself, but at the same time, like, being real, being raw, and then ending it with positivity to reel people back in, like, that you're not just a negative person or just super raw. And I loved this post. It took a lot to post it. Sometimes, like, one of those, feel like you got gut punched, and it's like, should I have done that or shouldn't I have? And then it's like, oh, I feel so much better based on the response. So just, being relatable through your posts, because you're being you. You're not being someone else, and you're not being what you want to be. You're being what you actually are. There was like some quote in during Sean Week, if you did Sean Week, and he's like, you have to accept where you are right now. Otherwise, when you get to where you want to be, you're not going to be happy with yourself then either. Like, you have to accept where you are. And this is like kind of one of those things where be where you are, so when you get to where you want to be, you're happy with yourself then too. Kind of a tangent, sorry. I'm really good at that. And so the language that you would use in your posts. So don't try to use posts that grab the attention. This is something I try to really work with my coaches. And I feel like they're just, when they write their posts, they're like, what's going to get me the most likes? What's going to get the most comments? And you can tell that's not the way that they talk in real life. That's not an actual conversation that they would have in their head. When you see my posts, and if you're going to go out and stalk my page after this, like I always do for people who present on team calls, you'll read my text, and what the things that I am typing, that is a conversation that I have in my head, in the shower, or in the moment. Like, awesome. It's authentic, and it's me. So don't try to please everyone and get the most likes and the most comments. Just speak from your heart. If you try to please everybody, you wind up pleasing nobody. It's kind of how that rolls. And in, like, also speaking with language, not necessarily the thought that goes behind language, but the actual like language of the post and the visual display. Don't try to pour your heart out and have super long posts. Nobody's going to sit and read long posts over and over and over again. There was a time period where someone that I follow, every post that she made was like 6 or 7 paragraphs long. And I'm not talking like 2-sentence paragraph. I'm talking like a 5-sentence paragraph. And it was like reading books. And I'm like, I don't have time to read this anymore. Like she's putting too much into it. So if you want to pour your heart out, do it once in a while. But quick things, that's how the scroll goes, right? Like something that you can read quick. You don't always have to click on see more to read the rest of what they're saying. And spacing things out, a sentence here, a blank line, it stands out a little bit more. Sprinkle in emojis where it fits, but don't use too many. Try to change some of your posts with I to you so that they speak to others more, if that makes sense. Try to use words like we, our, us, more than my, me, mine. It gets people feeling like they're brought into what you're saying. Use more descriptive words, more colorful language. If you see the same word over and over, like you want to try to use the same word over and over, try to find another word that fits, like some kind of a synonym that goes so you're not using the same word. Unless you're trying to go for a repetitive text. 2 years ago, I was unhappy. 2 years ago, I was unhealthy. 2 years ago, I was unsure of what to do to get out of my funk. And now, 2 years later, I finally figured it out. So that in that case, that kind of repetitiveness works. And this is huge, you guys. Replace Beachbody language with words the general population can relate to. So Shakeology, not everybody knows what that is. So boost of superfoods, or Pilates and yoga versus PiYo. People don't know what PiYo is, and then half the time your phone or your text autocorrects it to plyo, and that's not even what you meant in the first place, right? Weight training instead of hammer and chisel. And don't use bod. Nobody knows what the hell bod stands for, right? And even to say Beachbody on demand, that still doesn't help people. I am trying to use our online streaming if I'm talking about Beachbody on demand. In accountability group versus challenge group. It's, what is the word that I'm looking for? When I used to work, I'm struggling. We all have like sets of words that we use in our own specific industry. What the heck is that word? Why can't I think of it?
Jargon?
Yes, thank you. We all have like our own set of like jargon or words or even abbreviations that we use in our industry that nobody else has any idea what those mean. So don't do that to your audience because that's not helping. All right, so that's all I have on language. And now we talk about value. Value, and quality over quantity. So I'm sure a lot of you have been in trainings where you heard the advice, post 3 to 5 times a day. It's solid advice. I do try to do that, but if I don't have anything to say, I don't post. I don't post just to post. Like, it has to be quality things to post about. I have to be providing value of some point. Otherwise, what's the point? Like, when I write a post, I'm like, why would anybody even care about this? Is someone going to find this funny? Is this adding value to their life? What is this? Like, if it's just stupid, I won't post it. Right? Just to have a post. So quality posts. What are they? They add value to people's lives. They get people to stop their scroll. That's what we want, right? We want something that's scroll stopping. It invites them to engage with your post. So value can also be vague when I say value, value, value. Many coaches assume that value only means you're sharing things like recipes or fitness tips or other posts that give people content that they can take and apply right away. But that's not everything. Value also includes posts that share parts of your own story, and they allow others to like come in to your home, come into your story, and to feel something as well. So it can be things that inspire or motivate, that give advice. They share your past or your current struggles or challenges and how you plan to overcome them, not just complaints, right? Positive spin at the end. They give people the opportunity to connect and to relate and to see themselves in you. And that's what's so important about knowing who your avatar is, so that way they can relate. They can see themselves in what you're talking about. It like gets people to mentally raise that hand and say, yep, me too. I agree with that. Make people laugh, make people cry within those posts, or just asking them to share part of their lives, be vulnerable in your value posts. There's so many ways to add value into posts without being, I don't know what the word is, without being weird about it, I guess. It sounds funny, but take a poll. Ask genuine questions. I used to ask questions like, oh, how much coffee creamer do you add? Or what kind of shoes should I get next? And it's like, honestly, I don't care. And my family started asking me about posts like that. They're like, my mom's like, do you really care what people think? Like whether you should wear a hoop in your nose or a stud? And I was like, no, I don't care what people think. And she's like, yeah, I think that you're asking too many questions and people are starting to see that. I was like, okay, we need to scroll back on those question posts then. So unless it's something that I genuinely care about, I'm not going to ask people. Now, lately, I'm like super into hair and makeup and that kind of thing. So I am asking a lot of questions because I do care. Like I've got this new sea salt spray and I'm like, why is my hair getting nappy? But 50 people told me last week that they liked it. Like, what the heck is up with that? So, make sure that when you're asking for advice, it's genuine. It's not just this, what's your favorite color? What's your gemstone? Those random things. Like, yeah, they're great once in a while for some traction, but it doesn't do anything for you unless you're asking things like drop your favorite heart emoji with what, like that post that was going around, like your heart emoji with how much weight you would like to lose. That was phenomenal. I don't know if that kind of went through your team or not, or if you guys saw that, but that was a really great way to connect with people and to know who your audience would be. So I sometimes like to do like drop your, a picture of what you did over the weekend. It helps you get to know people, and interact with them, and make sure that when you do interactive posts, that you are actually acknowledging people back in the comments. You're not just asking people to come to you and you're not giving them anything in return. Does that make sense? Cool. All right. So let's see. Never run out of content ideas. Like this is kind of that whole thing of don't post just to post. Start a library of content ideas. I send myself, when I see a cool post on Facebook, I will share it, or I'll copy it and I'll send it to myself in Facebook Messenger if I'm out and about and can't save it to my Evernote or something like that. You could screenshot it. I don't know what method, Google Docs, however you guys like to do it. Start a Pinterest board. And, like a lot of times there'll be stock images of a bucket list going around, or what's on your bucket list, and create your own and then ask people to add their thoughts to it as well. Like that was huge at the beginning of summer. Or maybe it's a chore chart, but don't just use stock images with that content stuff. Try to make it your own, add your picture into it. So that way you're human, you're not just stock photos all the time as well. So you can create files of recipes or you name it. And I have some major storage issues on my cell phone because I take a billion pictures all the time and I don't use them instantly. I can use them 3 days later. Nobody knows that. So be a photographer all the time. Take pictures, use it at a later date. This is what helps you when you're maybe you're having a crappy morning and you don't want to post about something because you're having kind of a bad mood, but as you're scrolling through pictures, you saw something that you did with your kids over the weekend and you're like, oh yeah, I should share about this awesome park that we went to, and tell them that everything that they had there and ask if anyone's been there. It helps when the mind is blank or in a bad mood, which happens, to have a library of resources that you can pull from. There's also, if you're like me, you can go out to Pinterest and see Beachbody Coach posts and get tons of ideas from things out there. But when you're pulling from other people and other resources like that, make sure that you're making it your own. You're recreating the image, or you're at least cropping out somebody else's coach logo and things like that. Sometimes I see people from my team share things. I'm like, you do realize that says somebody else's name on there, because that's not okay. That was really stupid. Okay, so build a library for yourself so you don't run out of things. And now that was just kind of like sharing about the other stuff, which is the majority of what I do. I think that's probably what is the most appealing for you, Jessica, to my page, is the other things that I post about. And I find that for most people, but obviously we have to sprinkle in our business. And so I scrolled back and literally this was my post on the left here. Busy morning. Thank gosh for my hashtag Shakeology. That's a terrible post. That's like, how many car selfies of people in their shakes do you see? It kills me. It so kills me to see that. Like, and especially when they're crappy quality images, like this gritty, grainy image and things like that. It's half covering their face and it gives no value. It doesn't tell them anything about what Shakeology is or why someone would be drinking it. So I try to spice things up. I have a coach who posts the same exact flex pose every single day. Like, stop. You need variety in your images. Like, how many people, if you were to search Shakeology, how many coaches would you find with a Shakeology cup and a cheesy selfie grin? Thousands, right? So get some variety in your images with those pictures, because no matter what you have to say in your text above it, if you're on a phone, or next to it, however it works in the scroll, they are not going to stop and read that text unless that image is something that's going to make them want to stop. Right? So I have other things, like I have this cute shirt for Friday, and get like your body parts in images. Sounds weird, but instead of just your face all the time, like random hands and feet are known. One of my friends shared, my successful partner shared, like that there was some kind of a statistic out there where if you have your hands and your feet in the image, like it's more eye-catching than if you just have a picture of your shake. So I don't know, I can't remember what the theory was behind that, but it seems to be working. And like within this post, like someone asked me about my shirt and my necklace. So it was brought up to the newsfeed again, and it wasn't even about Shakeology, even though my post was actually about it. Just make sure that when you are sharing about your workouts, about Shakeology, like you have value in those posts. Like, why does anyone care that you are posting this? What's it done for you? Why are you drinking it? Is it relatable? Does it add value? Otherwise, they're not going to care. So, and you can share your product or your brand without being direct about it. So, like there's a little meme that goes around where people do leg day and then the day after leg day where they hold up their phone. And so I just recreated it. I try to not post a lot of those. Once in a while when I'm super lazy, I will post a stock, shared image, but I don't share it. I save it and repost it myself. But I will try to recreate it with my face or something that I have done with my text and that kind of thing. So that way, if it gets shared again, the credit comes back to me, not to someone else, because that's what I want. And I want to make sure that it's quality. So I feel like both of these are a great way to share my product without slapping a logo, a Beachbody logo on something and saying what workout I did and do you want to join me? No, I'm just sharing about how it's going and not being super direct, but still sharing about my product. All right. So timing is key, and you have to know when your avatar is online. So for me, my avatar is moms for the most part, and early on, maybe like a few months ago or a year ago, my moms were online in the middle of the night so I could post at like 2 a.m. because they were up with babies just like I was. And I remember having conversations, like inbox message conversations with women at 2 a.m. when I was up with the baby. So knowing when your avatar is online right now, lots of school-aged moms, so that dinner hour, waste of time. They're between 4 and 7, no one is online because we're all at baseball games, we're eating dinner, we're spending time with the kids. 8:30, 9 o'clock until about 10 o'clock is when my avatar is online. And then I used to be a full-time working mom or almost full-time working mom. And so I could hit them before 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. And now my market for the most part lately has been stay-at-home moms. So I can wait a little bit longer and post around 9, 10 o'clock after they've got kids out the door to school and that kind of thing. And I sometimes am super guilty of this, and it's something I want to do better at, is not always posting the same thing at the same time. So even though most days, not lately, I work out around 9, 10 o'clock, I was always posting my workouts at that time. Well, the people who were at work were never seeing those posts because by 5 o'clock, those posts were old news. So changing it up and posting about your workouts at night, or if you work out at 6 a.m, don't always post about your workout at 6 a.m. unless you have people who are looking to you for accountability at 6 a.m. But changing that up and posting it at night. Yeah, you can take your picture, put it in your photo library, and make sure that you're doing that at different times. Same with when you share about your coaching opportunity. Don't always do that. Like, it seems like nighttime is a great time to do that, but maybe it's in the morning, maybe it's on a weekend. Know when your avatar's peak times are. Usually, you can kind of Google this too to find when the peak times on Facebook are as well. So, all right. So now I want to talk to you about images, because that's what's going to stop the scroll. That's what's going to get people to read your posts. So I'm going to give you a couple examples of things that you can do. This is something that drives me nuts. I can spot this a mile away. I know when people are looking at themselves while they're taking the picture versus looking at the little tiny dot where the camera actually is. And look at the difference between these two pictures. Like, it's huge, right? So do not look at yourself while you are taking pictures. If you have it in selfie mode, make sure that you are looking at the camera. So I'll just kind of go through these quick. Lighting is so key. Try to always use natural lighting versus, fake lighting or flash, that kind of thing. Or if you have special lights, like a ring light or a Lumi or that kind of thing, those are awesome. But I did my first picture on the left here in the bathroom at the doctor's office, and lots of shadow. This is even, like, the quality of this has been kind of washed out. I feel like it's real gritty. And then I did the same kind of angle outside in natural light. And there's a huge difference, I feel like, between those two images. So lighting is huge. And especially for those workout photos as well, make sure that you have good lighting. I know people try to do it in their workout space, and that's hard. So the other day, my husband came downstairs. He's like, "What the heck is this?" There was like my weight glove over the top of the light bulb, because it always creates like an orb behind my head. And so, like, I was trying to play with the lighting and stuff. And I mean, play with the lighting, set a timer, and don't always hold your camera out. That self timer is like my best friend on my phone. So change settings on lighting, filters. If you, like, a lot of phones just have it right in the actual camera, you can change your filter there, and cropping. So same image, huge difference between these two photos. I mean, the shake alone looks 10 times more appealing with a bright green color than the normal coloring. So you want things that pop in the newsfeed. So play with different angles, front, side, all of these different things are going to stop the scroll more. So lots of variety. Make food porn. Make sure that when you're taking a picture of your meals, it's not just a boring image. I, no lie, went to the dollar store and bought a plain white dish and bowl for taking photos of my food. And a lot of times I will just use those dishes, because our dishes have this, like, they're old hand-me-downs from my husband's grandma, I think, and they have this, like, flowers and different things. Dollar store plate and bowl. I just have one of each, and that's where I take all of my photos for food porn and recipes and different things. Or, like, go out and buy a specific cool mug that you use just specifically for your Shakeology or something like that. So something that is very neutral. All right, expressions that stop scrolls and that also mimic your posts. So this is my Success Club partner, Emily. We did an entire call on scroll stopping images. So I just lifted some of the stuff from that. But as you can see, these are like that photo of me and my daughter at the end. It's kind of gothic looking. And I was definitely complaining about something, or something was upsetting me. I can't remember what it was about, but and it definitely stopped the scroll, because I don't normally wear black lipstick and have that nasty look on my face. And clearly I was excited about something with my cup of coffee. And so just make sure that your text matches your image and grabs their attention. All right, these are some apps. I work almost, I would say 98% of the time from my phone, which is not working so well these days for me. But so all of my photos and images where I add text and different things like that are made through apps on my phone. So these are some apps that I would recommend checking out, and just buy them. They're seriously $1.99. Don't leave that stupid Typorama logo or Photofy logo in the corner. I see that every single time, and it drives me insane because it's $1 and like it's $1.99 or whatever it is. Like, it is huge. And on like Typorama, you can create your own logo and it automatically slaps it on every single thing that you make. It's just a watermark that you can choose to have on or off, and that's awesome. Why not have that brand over and over and over again? Now you just have to remember to put it on there, which is something I struggle with sometimes. All right. And then lastly, these are things you do not want to do. These are very rookie things. These are things that will turn your audience off instantly. Bad images, like grainy, gritty things, bad lighting, bad angles. Make sure that it is flattering. I have a friend who likes to, I was telling Jessica this earlier today, she loves to do core de force, which is phenomenal. It's totally defining her core, but she likes to do like high kick images, and it's almost a daily crotch shot, and it's terrible. It's terrible. It's not flattering for anyone. I don't care how fit you are. That is not, you're not speaking to the right avatar if that's what you're looking for. So make sure that it's a good angle for you. And so, okay, and this is huge. Links. Do not post your link anywhere, in a post, in a comment, nothing. Do not do that. That is probably one of the biggest ways to turn off your audience, is to share links. We pride ourselves in being coaches that get to help people one-on-one. So if we just blast our link out there like, hey, we have spent no time getting to know that person and finding out what their goals are and what they want to do. So you're kind of going against everything that we pride ourselves on in terms of being a one-on-one coach, because you're not spending the time getting to know people. You're just trying to sell them something. And that's not what this is about. Not for me anyways. So, all right. Announcing you are a coach without sharing your story. Hey, I'm a Beachbody coach. I'm starting a new accountability group or challenge group. Want to join me? What? Okay. If you haven't been sharing your story and telling people about what you're doing, that's a thing right off the bat that you need to to tackle. But make sure that you are sharing about yourself, about what you've been through, and then inviting people. Otherwise, you're just a salesperson, and that's not cool. That's ruining things for yourself and for everyone else. So don't be that guy or girl in this case. This drives me insane. Beachbody is one word. This is the company that you work for. This is the company that pays your paychecks. And if you can't spell it right, you're in for a long haul. So please help me. It is one word. I know that your phone's autocorrect, but you have to proofread and make sure that that is one word, not two words. Stock advertising images, like going out to Google and posting the 21 Day Fix logo or the Hammer and Chisel logo, no go with the logo. Okay. It is you, it is your brand. This is your business. Like, when you file your taxes, you don't say that Beachbody is your employer. You are your employer. You are your logo. You are your brand. So don't post stock images of stuff, because to us that's recognizable, but to other people that's not recognizable either. And a lot of times that goes with unrealistic body image photos. Like when you post Autumn to your newsfeed, how many people realistically do you have in your market that are going to be toned and chiseled like Autumn in 21 days? I don't have any in my, maybe like one out of how many thousands of friends. But that is unrealistic to post for people. And they're going to look at that and they're going to go, yeah, that's not going to be me. So making sure that things are realistic, that you're sharing. If you want to post transformation photos and things like that, awesome. But don't post these toned, chiseled bodies to sell your brand, because ultimately, right, we all would love to get there, but it's a long journey along the way to get there. Maybe not. Maybe you don't want to get there. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that, but I do. So anyways, logos on images that are not your own. I've already said that before. That's, those random things, those shares and different things, and pricing. Do not post pricing on your post or your page. Take that up in messages one-on-one. That's a surefire way to turn people off. You do not know what everyone's budget is, and being able to talk them through and provide them with other ideas and opportunities for paying for their product and different things is what you want to do. So just don't go there with pricing. If you want to talk pricing, do it in an event. Do it in a different setting versus the public newsfeed. I've done that before where I've went live. It worked fabulously. I love events. And I'll spend a week introducing my next accountability group. And then at the end, I'll say, all right, let's talk meat and potatoes. And here's how this is going to work. This is going to be your best bang for your buck. And this is how much it costs. And it works out kind of nice because I don't have to repeat myself 50 times in a message. I can just refer them to that event where I talk about pricing. Then I get to tag them in that post and it pops up people's news feeds again. But I like to do it in a video where they have to actually watch me and get to know me a little bit live before they hear those things. So those are some no-nos. These are definitely things that I have done that I see in my time hop that make me hang my head in shame. But we have to get there. We all have to learn. And if I can save you some of these embarrassments, I'm happy to have done that. So, all right, that is all that I have. Any questions?
This was so good. This was so good, Sheena. Thank you so much. Guys, don't be shy about unmuting yourself and asking a question.
So awesome call. Thank you so much. I took a ton of notes. I had one super short random question. You mentioned, I was getting water. You mentioned the watermark to erase or not to erase. I know about that, but because I type my watermark on the bottom of my picture on Studio every single time. And it's very time consuming. So what did you mention was the app you used for that?
Typorama has it built right in.
Okay. And then I wanted to get your opinion on this because this is something that I struggle with. So I have never once, I've been coaching almost 3 years, I've never once used the word Shakeology, Beachbody, any of the product names ever. And but I do see a lot of the top coaches and they will actually use the terminology. And I guess I grapple with it because I feel like it can come across salesy, number one. Number two, I have coaches that have, they'll mention Shakeology or 21-day fix, and then it backfires on them because people will go and find it on eBay or whatever. But I still see a lot of top coaches that use that verbiage, and I guess I would love some other opinions on that.
So I do a mixture. For I would say my first year in coaching, I definitely used it over and over again. I used Shakeology. I used 21-day fix. Like I used the Beachbody lingo. And then I saw a call. I can't remember. She has this really beautiful image where she's on a pier. Do you know who I'm talking about? In a swimsuit. Anyways, she did a call for us, and she talked about how when you say these things, people don't need to follow up in a conversation with you. They're just going to go out to Amazon. They're going to go on eBay and buy those things. And so I tried to scale back on using, Beachbody lingo because I was like, oh, that's so true. I don't know. I guess I can't say that I feel strongly one way or the other. I'm trying to do a little bit of both. Sometimes, I don't know, I feel if I don't say it, they're like, what's going, maybe she's, like just doing a random workout that she found on YouTube. And so I will reference our online streaming of workouts. I think for the most part, though, people know that I'm associated with Beachbody because they know that that's who I am at this point. So I don't know that it really does a lot, because
I know, I really grapple with it because I'm very vague, but at the same time, for me, it's worked because it gets people asking me questions like, what is this, this Pilates yoga program that you're doing? And so it gets people asking me questions, whereas I feel like otherwise, if I come right out and say PIO, they can just Google it and order it, through Beachbody and get another coach. So I don't know. I still really, really grapple with that personally.
Yeah, I totally agree. But I think at the same time, when we're out having conversations with people and they say, oh, what do you do? And I say, I'm a health and fitness coach. And they're like, oh, okay. And then I say, well, programs like Insanity and P90X and, T25. And they're like, oh, okay. And so sometimes I think that helps too, to have something to link it to so that it doesn't just, maybe if I said my online streaming of workouts, something might be like, oh, she does the daily burn or whatever that is, like, oh, I don't want, I don't want people going there thinking that's what I'm talking about. So
yeah,
I am with you. It wasn't until fairly recently, though, I would say within the last, 6-ish months that I thought of that I was like, ooh, that's so true.
Yeah.
If it's working for you, though, I would say just keep running with it. And you're probably wearing a Shakeology shirt or something like that.
A little more subtle.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I had a question quick about your comment about no links. Just specifically, are you talking like don't link to buy this program? Because one thing we just started, our upline, Jess's upline, Amanda, just started teaching us like the funnel system for free groups. And what she does is when someone comments like, hey, I want in your free group, then you would give them the link. You would comment with the link for them to join the group. So are you talking more specifically about like, don't just send out, hey, here's the link to 21-day fix,
right.
But like you can link to like your free groups or like if you're recommending a product on Amazon or something.
Yeah, like as long as it's not like a Beachbody program,
yeah.
or something that you're recommending.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
That's only going to give you more traction to your free groups and things like that. So yeah, for sure. Go ahead, share your events. I try to, if I'm going to make a post to invite to a free group, I want to use an image that is associated with my free group and then link my free group so that it doesn't look like a share. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Because sometimes when you drop a link to a Facebook group or a Facebook event, before you upload an image, it like shares that, and that's what comes up in the scroll, and you're not able to add an image anymore.
Mhm.
But images are what stop the scroll. So you upload your image, say you're going to have a sweet treats group or something like that, okay? And so you would upload the image for your sweet treats ad or, you know, something like that, and then post your link that goes with it to your free group. Otherwise, it won't let you upload an image if you're sharing a link to a group.
Gotcha. Yep, I get it.
But yeah, just no Beachbody links.
Perfect. Gotcha. Just wanted to clarify. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone else have questions?
I don't have a question, but I just had another comment that I just, like, we must be sharing the same brain wave or something, because I was doing the same thing as you, where I found myself posting the same things at the same times every day. And I realized that going through my scroll or through just my history, I'm like, I'm only posting my fitness videos or workouts at like a specific time of day, and I'm missing out on a whole group of people that maybe are only on in the morning or late at night. And so I've just recently started shaking it up, and I have noticed a huge difference. So
Yeah.
it's amazing how it can take so long to figure something out.
Right.
But it's really, you know, obviously you're not going to be posting coffee posts at 10 o'clock at night, but I mean, the fitness ones, it makes so much sense to me now.
Yes, big time. I feel like I had something else I wanted to add, but then I can't remember what it is, which is how my brain works. It'll come to me as soon as we end this call, you know.
I was excited that I posted a Shakeology image last week with my feet and hands, and now I know.
There you go.
And I did a wine image too with my hands, and I got a lot of traction on that. So that's interesting to me.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's so funny when you, this is what I was going to say. Do random spot checks on your page. It's huge. I will go in and like, I'll offer my coaches like, hey, I can give your profile a little shakedown for you and give you some feedback if you want. And I will just click on the photos tab and like the uploads. And it's amazing how many times you will see the same angle, same photo. And it's like, oh crap, I can't believe I have like 6 of this same headshot looking the same direction. I have one coach I wanted to recognize, and I legit scrolled through probably 10 photos of her in her car like this, not looking at the camera, like looking over the camera, just smiling. And it's like, don't do that. Don't do that. Make sure that you scroll through and you have a variety, and it's not just you, it's your kids, it's your dog, it's your avatar, it's your ice cream, it's your coffee, it's, you know, your chaos, it's your groceries, it's your food porn, it's all of that. So spot check your profile. I would say, you know, every 2 weeks or something like that, through images, just to see. And to go in and scroll, you know, people will share stuff. If you're doing a good job of marketing your brand and sharing things that you like, people are going to start to, like, people keep sharing. It's probably been over a month since I complained about my boys not peeing in the toilet and peeing on the floor and stuff. And all the time people are sharing things to my timeline of like target practice for little boys on the toilet. And it's like, I don't know if that's something I really want people to see when they come to my page. So go in and clean up those things, hide from your timeline, the stuff that people tag you in, and, you know, stuff like that. So spot checking to make sure everything looks clean is a good idea every now and then.
That's good advice. It's really good advice.
Awesome. I'm happy that came to me before we ended.
Guys, I got so many good takeaways. I hope that you all did too. Yes.
Yay. Awesome.
Well, I
thank
won't,
you.
it's been on an hour, and some of you all are Eastern time too, so you've got to be tired. But I just wanted to thank Sheena so much for being on the call with us, and ladies who are on, I know if you guys have any questions, feel free to inbox her too if something pops up in your head. But I just got a lot of really valuable content, and I'm always trying to work to make my social media presence better. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yes, you're welcome. Thanks for having me. I was very, very flattered.
Well, we're flattered. I'm flattered that she said yes and that you're here. So thank you. And ladies, thanks all for being on. And I will post the recording for everybody else. So thank you guys so much and have a good night.